name's Mike Hammontree. I'm from Michigan. I live in Los Angeles, California, well, Venice Beach. We're sitting in the rooftop at the moment. And I mainly do social media, marketing management, anything that has to do with social media, I probably do it. Work with a lot of brands, celebrities, influencers, all of that. And I'm a creator myself. Anything social media. First experience with social media, I think, was Facebook. I didn't download Facebook. I went to the desktop site of Facebook. I begged my mom to let me make an account because I think all my friends were doing it. And then after that, I think it was Twitter. And I never took them seriously, really. It was just like, I just like had it, and I kind of used it, not really. But then my actual first experience was Vine. As some of you watching this may know, like, I started making Vines, and that was when I actually started using social media. So I remember this like distinctly. It's literally this is why my license plate says Viner. So I was in Mackinac with my family, and my cousins and I had been making Vines for like 2 weeks or so. We posted one of my cousin Josh's account, and like instantly, I mean within probably 3 minutes or so, it started going viral. And with like overnight, it had like 50K likes. And like as we're just sitting there refreshing for the first hour, and it's just growing thousands of likes. Like, I mean, for the first couple minutes, it would jump 1,000 likes every time we refreshed, because it hit the popular page at the time, which was like a big deal. And Trey Kennedy revined it, so thank you to Trey. He's literally started my career. And so yeah, I mean, I just remember I was like running around the backyard, like freaking out. We're like telling all of our family, like, hey, it finally happened, like we've been trying to get, big on social media. So that is why my license plate says Viner and is the Mackinac version. So I realized that there was a career in social media. It was probably 5 months or less into, I remember it's like December 21st or something of 2013. I remember getting my first email from an agency, and they were like, hey, like we have an app called Badoo. It's a dating app. We want you to promote it on your Vine, and we'll pay you. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I did that for a couple months. I was making a lot of money at 15. And I had more than a full-time job, and then I got my license, started driving. It was awesome. I was able to afford it, and a couple months into it, I was like, hey, like there's a bigger market than just myself. Like I know all of my friends that want brand deals. Like they're all hoping for brand deals, and I'm for some reason really good at reaching out to brands, and a lot of people hit me up, emailing me, and I was like, you know what, I could help my friends and potentially help the brands, reach more than just myself. So long story short, I ended up just doing brand deals for all my friends and myself at the time. And I guess that transformed into much more. I mean, over time we went from brand deals to adding in, doing social media management to help other people grow their channels. Then it turned into content creation for other people and myself, obviously. And then that helped, basically it's turned into any sort of social media marketing ever. And then obviously that's digital marketing and a whole slew of things. I guess my approach originally, as I mentioned, was the brand deals, right? Like that was the first part, was sponsoring brands. Eventually it became doing merchandise, so selling my own merch and other people selling their own merch, and eventually helping people, to create merchandise, whether it's a clothing line or like I did wristbands for my first thing and a couple t-shirts and stuff. You can do obviously brand deals. There's monetization on YouTube. There is the affiliate links, so that could be an Amazon link, that could be, whatever. You can put songs behind, whether it's a TikTok now is obviously gigantic. You can put songs behind your TikTok, you can put it in a YouTube video. I mean, you can monetize a video 4 or 5 different ways if you're smart about it. And if you plan ahead, you can do that every single video. And obviously there's Patreon, there's all these other apps that, you can obviously make a lot of money there as well. So there's definitely a lot of options. So I started my first company. I did it as myself at first, and that was 2014. I would say very early 2014. was when I did it myself. In 2015 is when I moved into content creation and social media management. And that was when it really became real to me. Was like, I was like, hey, this is actually something I'm gonna do. I'm not just helping my friends anymore, like I'm actually doing something. And that was when I started traveling around to, as a company. In 2016, I traveled more than I ever had in my entire life. 2017, I doubled that. And it just kept, 2018 was nuts. So yeah, I remember, I think I flew 100,000 miles, like ground miles in 2017, which was wild. So there's a lot, so it just kept going. And then the challenges that I faced, honestly, was just people. It's getting a lot better now, but previously, me being young was the biggest issue. As for like what I've learned, I think it's a couple things. Number one, I've met multiple celebrities. They're normal people. They're normal people. I think that's the coolest thing. Like a lot of people, assume that it's this crazy lifestyle out here, and celebrities are, this crazy phenomenon. But they're normal people, and for the most part, what you see on social media is not true. I think that's the biggest thing I've learned. The other biggest thing that I've learned, I would say, is learning how to segment yourself in the right ways to where you don't share everything with everybody, because it really as a business person, it makes things really difficult. It really makes things difficult. You want to make your life as streamlined as possible. And so even in your mind, you got to segment things off. Like I work on like 7 different projects, or businesses, and more than that in projects. And so being able to segment certain things off and having groups of people for each of those, I think is really important. I think that's the biggest thing that I could biggest piece of advice, if anything. Yeah, work is my video game. It's like, so people play those dumb games, and I've done it where like, you're in an app and you got to try to figure out how to make money, and you make moves, you build your business within this app or game, and to make money. And I'm like I'm doing that in real life. Like it's literally a real life video game, and once you make your process systematic and it's very like specific. So for example, like when I'm reaching out to people and I send contracts or whatever, like that system that I've put in place is literally a video game. Like it's so specific. It'd be the same thing that you're doing in a video game, but in real life, and just a little bit extra, work, right? That's it. Except the money that I'm taking home is real. It's not stuck in a video game. So I think that's the biggest. That's my thing. So free time. Honestly, I enjoy work enough that I could work all the time. But other than that, I love skateboarding up and down the boardwalk right here. I'll occasionally go for like a run over here. Other than that, just being with friends. Like last time we went to Tempest and went to a trampoline park. That was super fun. I love going to events. Like events and gifting suites are my thing. I love them. I think, and other than that, if I'm talking extreme, like I love traveling, but I've just taken a step back from that to focus on business. So I think it's hard for some people to understand, at least at first. So whether that's friendships, relationships, like whatever. Like I had one friend that I remember, one of my best friends in high school. Not you, Adam. I love you, Adam. But one of my friends in high school, I think he got upset that I had so much freedom, and so I think it impacted our friendship a lot. And what people don't understand is that I have to discipline myself to work a 9 to 5 or more than a 9 to 5. So I think that's been really, really hard for anybody in my life to understand. And even vice versa, it's hard for me to remember that sometimes. Like sometimes I'll even try to talk to my mom and she's like, I'm at work. And I'm like, oh yeah, like shoot, like I try to call her and she's at work. And I feel bad because like I might need or want something or want to talk to her or whatever, and she's busy and she can't just pick up the phone whenever she wants. I think that I could go into it forever. I think that a lot of people hated on me for it, especially during the Vine times. I think like in high school, it was every day I would hear something new. I would always hear something negative about myself. But I think it just drove me to work harder. So there's a lot of I'm kind of spitballing, but there's a lot of different, a lot of different things that have impacted my life. But overall, in a good way, it's impacted me. I have freedom to do whatever I want, whenever I want. I don't have to rely on a boss necessarily. I don't have to rely on, like, no one sets my worth either. Like, I set my worth. I tell, someone what my rate is, and if they don't like it, too bad, then don't pay it. And that's the thing, because I know what I can do. I know what I'm capable of. And again, like for my hobbies, when I choose to travel, like, I'm gonna travel. Like, that's just like, my friends are going to Amsterdam in December, like, I'm gonna go to Amsterdam. And I think those aspects are really cool, and that's not to sound conceited at all. I think it's just like, those aspects are what drives me to be an entrepreneur. And then again, I'm building something bigger than myself. I'm not helping someone else build a business. Like, I am, because they're my clients, but I'm doing something for myself to help other people. And I think that's biggest. I'm not just showing up, clocking in, clocking out. Best part about my job is helping people. And like it's funny, because people think like, oh, you're just taking money, and you're taking a marketing budget, you're getting paid for content creation, blah blah blah. But what they don't realize is that I have actually helped people launch their business into a new level. I love helping people. And when this gets even bigger, when we're talking like hundreds of millions of dollars or billions of dollars, like, I'll be able to make a real change in the world. And I think that's what I like the most about my job, above the freedom, above everything else. Like, I like the idea of being able to help other people, whether that's a business, whether that's, an influencer, a celebrity, a content creator that needs help with content or whatever it is. I like being able to make a change and help people. I would say, do not let anybody hold you back for any reason. Don't let a teacher, a principal, don't let students hold you back. Like, that's a big thing, because there's a lot of people that are like 13, 14, blowing up on TikTok right now, that I guarantee are getting bullied by kids in their school. And they're gonna stop making videos. I bet half of them stop making videos, and half of them don't end up having a career from it. What I want to point out is, I had less followers than almost all of my friends, but I made a lifelong career out of it, because I didn't let other people tear me down, and I didn't let other people stop me. So that's the biggest advice I would give to myself 5 years ago, because I might even be a little bit further if I didn't let some people tear me down, and I continued to make more videos and not cared about what people at school thought. Things are exploding over the last couple weeks, so my goals are quickly being elevated. But my goal with the influencer aspect is to create lifelong income for the influencers that we work with, like creating something that's worthwhile. I think that there's something that I really feel great about, and it's the creatives of the world, because they really do make a difference. They give something for people to watch. I've met many fans that cry when they meet my friends or me or whatever, and it's because, if you think about the content that you consume, and when you're in a bad state, or you're bored or whatever, right? Especially when you're not feeling the best, you want to watch something, take your mind off of something. There are a lot of people, especially younger people, that watch that constantly, and if they're going through something or whatever it is, they're always watching videos as an escape. And I think the creatives change the world in that way, whether that's actors, whether that's musicians, especially musicians. There's so many things that I want to help empower those people to keep doing what they do, because as we just mentioned, there's a lot of people that if it's not done right, they're going to stop making content, because they're not able to anymore, because they can't afford to. They have to get a job, they have to whatever. And so small goal would be creating sustainable income, lifetime, businesses for creators, talent. On a bigger level, it's also, making a change in a much bigger way than that. And so for me, I don't know what that means yet, but I know it's going to take a lot of money to make a change in this world. And so I think that's the biggest part. If we're talking 5-10 years, I want to make a big change, and I don't know what that means yet. I would say last note is continue to always follow your dreams. It sounds very cliche, but it's one of those things that, you know, they always say that the graveyards have the most dreams, you know, or the most valuable dreams. I forget what the saying is, but the reason they say that is because most people never follow their dreams. They never actually, you know, they never do that invention. They never they never make that video. They didn't do whatever they wanted to do. And it's because people give up and fall in line with the system very easily. 99.9%, that's why you hear about the 1%, because less than 1%, in my opinion, of the world is actually following their dreams, and probably 1% of the 1% is actually like executing on them. And I think that's the biggest thing that can make you different. And I think just don't give up. You know, like I followed my dreams for 5 years before something actually happened, and then ever since then it's just been, I mean, it's been a roller coaster, but overall the trajectory has been straight up. And I think that's what is most important to remember. But definitely check out my Instagram. It's at Mike H. There will be some stuff on Google, but otherwise my company is Slay, and that is the overall at Mike H on Instagram. You'll find everything there.